Hey, it's Buck again with another live sound list. This list is the 5 weirdest performances. So I used to mix a lot of punk, performance art, reggae, Grateful Dead style music. I don't know what the hippie music, let's call it, or tie-dye hippie music, which was always great. Not knocking it. Lots of rock and roll, but I did a lot of performance art mixes too. And I'll talk about the 5 weirdest acts I've ever seen perform on stage, starting with the cow costume keyboard. So the keyboard player comes out with a little mini keyboard attached to his side, and he's got a cow costume, and he's telling very silly poetry. And there are 150 people, maybe 120 people, right around the stage, lapping it up. It was hilarious because it's like, well, who does this, right? And the poetry was inane, and the look on his face almost looked like Tiny Tim or something like that. And it was just like, okay, what have we got here? And I don't know, he somehow managed to entertain everybody, and it was a little weird, but not that weird. Even weirder was the syrup and the diapers, where one guy was in a cage. There was women walking around the venue, whipping other women, and they had metal bustiers, and they were on a large catwalk at one point at the front of the stage. And this guy off to the side of the stage was in a crate, much like a large dog's crate, in diapers, holding on to the top of the crate, and somebody's pouring syrup all over him. And it is like pretty much right in front of the mixing board. I'm watching the women whipping the women, and I'm watching the guy with the syrup being poured on him. And then there's a solo performance act on the stage, and I'm like, what is going on here? Kind of eye-opening. Very entertaining. I'll never forget it. The next weird one was humping keyboard debris. Yes, you heard that right. Humping keyboard debris. A performer. Actually, it was Corpus from Toronto. Corpus, if you're watching, maybe you're not watching this, but I'm going to put your name in the search in the search tags there, just so you would see this. But he does this performance. And he takes this keyboard. It's an old keyboard. I think they just got it out of the garbage or something as part of the act. I don't remember exactly. But he ends up at the end of the set throwing it on the floor and smashing it into pieces. And he was kind of dressed like kind of Gene Simmons, sort of like a operatic Gene Simmons, if you can imagine that. Not quite Gene Simmons, but it looked a lot like him. And he, had metal studs on his knees and stuff like that, and a metal studded, cup, and he was on the floor humping this broken keyboard debris, and everybody's standing around watching this, going, I hope he's not hurting anything. Anyway, no, he had that metal studded cup, so I don't think he was actually hurting anything, but that was a weird thing. Let's see. These next 2 would be tie as far as weirdness. One I wasn't at. That's called the Dead Goat Sod. I was the front of house sound person at a club, the house sound person. And another guy, Ron, he worked for me that night because I was working at a couple of doors down at another club. Somebody said, could you work at this club? And I said, sure, I'll just get somebody to do the show at my club. So Ron did it, and he told me all about it. It was packed. It was some performance art thing. They ran out of beer. People were hot and sweaty, and it was just like chaos. And this one performance artist decided to take a chainsaw and saw the carcass of a dead goat that they got from the market, Kensington Market in Toronto. I guess that's where they got it because it's the nearest meat shop around, and decided to, cut it in half or something like that. And blood was spraying on people, and they were complaining. And oh man, that was okay. So I didn't witness that. I witnessed, I talked to somebody who witnessed that, and he told me all about it. I wish I was there for that show so I could say I actually saw it. So that was a bit of a lie. Sorry, I wasn't there. And then the Toy Gun Incident. I think that's the weirdest thing I have ever seen. And this was, we had lots of performance art. It was a very long day of performances, and we had people up there doing like solo acts, some bands, just act after act after act. And then the organizer decided to do an act themselves. And the organizer was trans. And they went up, and they faced towards the back of the stage with a video camera facing towards their groin area. And they basically recited a monologue and maybe some ad-lib words here and there, and were playing with their groin region with the toy gun, especially putting the tip of the toy gun up their bum. And they projected this on a huge screen. So I'm watching this going, what am I watching? How is this going to affect me in 10, 20 years? Well, it didn't affect me that badly. I think it's a funny story. But yeah, that did happen. And I was the sound guy for that. And just making sure the mic didn't feed back. That's all I'm doing here. Oh, what are you doing with that gun? You know, so those are 5 of the weirdest acts that I have ever witnessed, and one I didn't actually witness. And anyway, so maybe you have some acts that you've witnessed that are just as weird. I would love to hear about them because I like the weird stuff. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and have a great night. And please subscribe. Thank you.